So again, the I squared is a negative 1 to be combined with a 4 makes 3. And so then I do my multiplication one more time. So I get 6 plus 3i plus 8i plus 4i squared. And again, with the I squared being a negative 1, this whole term becomes minus 4. So 6 minus 4 is 2. 3i plus 8i is 11i. So that would be choice 1. Hopefully we get something that's straightforward. That's pretty straightforward. Okay? 22. Which recursive definition models the growth of a one-time investment of $6,000 in a bank account with a yearly interest rate of 3% compounded monthly after n years? So, after n years means when n is 1, after 1 year, how much money would be in there? Is it going to be $6,000 after 1 year? Right? No. It was actually $6,000 in the 0th year. It's funny because lots of times when we've seen recursive, we start with a sub 1 equals, like the first term equals. And here, because n is standing for a number of years since the first investment, they actually use a sub 0 as like the 0th term. So that's not going to make or break anything because they all say that. But then we have to look. They're all recursive formulas because they're all using a sub n minus 1. One is saying take the previous term and multiply it by this 1 plus 0.03 over 12 to the 12th power. This one is saying take the previous term and multiply it by 1.03. This one's more straightforward. This one's just saying a 3% annual growth. This one is using this e to the 0.03, and this one is 1 plus 3 over 12 to the 12th power. So just to take a quick vote here. Raise your hand, or hold up on the count of 3, whether you're choosing 1, 2, 3, or 4. On your mark, get set, go. Okay, I'm seeing mostly ones, although I saw a couple other answers. So because we were given, obviously, an interest rate of 3%, 0.03 makes sense to see that. So that would get rid of number 4 for me. Compounded monthly. So this is, the E is compounded continuously, so that would get rid of that for me. And monthly is 12, and so if you know your compound interest formula, that's it. That's divided into the 12 parts. This is just earning 3% a year, no compounding involved. Just a one-time interest. So that is choice number 1. 23. Writing the inverse is just that switching of the x and the y process. I'll tell you what, it never looks like the one that's just the opposite, right? I know lazy people or people that really don't know what they're doing are going to pick 3 because the signs are just opposite, and that's why they put it there. You never can really do one of these problems without actually fully doing the work. So you want to switch your x's and the y's. Subtract the 5 over, because we got to solve for y. Divide by -2. So y equals x minus 5 all over -2, which obviously is not there in that format. It's not there in that format. So you have to know that you can just as easily divide each term individually by -2. So x divided by -2 would be, well, you could write it like this, and then -5 divided by -2 is going to be a plus 5/2. So I have the negative with the denominator. That's the same as having the negative just out in front, or even if they had that negative just with the numerator of the x. But the answer is choice 1. Okay? And number 24. Let's see what we got here. Please don't be a stats question. Please don't be a stats question. We will find out. We are given a table listing the number of Americans in thousands who are expected to be over 100 years old for the selected year. So in 2014, 50,000 people are expected to be over 100. In 2016, 56,000, so on and so forth. Let X represent the number of years after 2010. Determine the quadratic regression equation for the data. Okay, it's a stats question, but not like a simulation, so I'm happy. We just have to enter the data. Key point here. What do you put in for your X's? 2014? What should we put in? 14. Because X is the number of years after 2010. So 2014, no, not 14, 4. 2014 should be 4, 2016 should be 6, so on and so forth. So stat, edit, clear out things if you have them there, and plug in 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14 as your X coordinates. Okay? That's critical. And as far as the thousands, you can change it to thousands if you want to and just know that you did that, or you can wait till you get your final answer and then change your final answer to thousands. I'm going to do it that way. 50, 56, 65, 75, 94, and 110. So I don't even need to create a scatter plot to just run the regression, and they've already told me to do a quadratic. Stat, calc, quad regression number 5. My X coordinate I put in list 1, my Y coordinate I put in list 2. I don't have a frequency list, so that's all good. And here's my calculator. Now this is going to be tricky because these are crazy, crazy decimals. And even though it says to predict the number of Americans who will be over 100 years old in the year 2026, that number has to be to the nearest thousand. If I round too much here, it's really going to throw things off. Okay? So as much as you can, A is 0.401785714 x squared, plus my B is actually a minus 1.175x, plus my C is a 48.34285714. I would just be careful, especially because some of these answers are fairly close to each other. 130 versus 132, that's pretty close. So you want to keep this as exact as you can. So if I'm going to use my equation to predict the number of Americans that are over this age in 2026, what number do I plug in to my equation? 16. So, second quit, if I just go and type this all in, oh boy, 0.401785714 times 16 squared minus 1.175 times 16 plus that crazy 48.34285714. 132.4, which in thousands, you would just move that decimal place over. So which one's the closest? 4. If you cut that off, I'm just curious. Sometimes it affects you and sometimes it doesn't. So even if I round each of these to the nearest thousands, 0.402 times 16 squared minus 1.175 times 16 plus 48.343, I still get in the 132. So it wouldn't really do much damage here, but sometimes it really does. Okay? Let's jump to 37. Or not. Should we save that for tomorrow? we'll save that till tomorrow. Because I have your stats test, and it's gonna take some time to get these back to the owners because you did a group test. So I'm gonna give it back to